we were sure about what these teams are going to do.
Kind of the trajectory of where this season could potentially go.
Love for Maui? Yeah, I'm going to go back and brew it.
Back! We have no idea who Michigan is, who Notre Dame is.
Cardell Jones. I'm not here to play school.
20 years from now, I'll be right here on a Barletta because this thing is like legit.
This is the Varsity Brews podcast. Right after a cold plunge, right after a workout, Vahid Sadrzadeh, Evan Sharpley, our fan over here, our sole fan for the day, Micah. What's up, man? It's awesome. What a day. Aaron's missing out, I feel like.
Aaron is missing out.
Aaron, we miss you, man. What's going on?
Great workout.
Great workout. We did. Give us the lowdown on the workout.
Well, we did 10 minutes of sled.
Yep.
Pull the sled, push the sled, repeat for 10 minutes. And then we got a nice little buy and try workout in.
I love it, man.
Sick pump, and then hit the cold plunge for, I don't know, what'd you do, a minute and a half?
Yeah, I did 90 seconds.
Yeah, it was cold tonight. It was a little cold outside, but after I purify the tub and clean it, I feel like it's colder.
It said 36.
I know, which I think...
Which is 2 degrees warmer than the last time we plunged.
But it
felt
colder.
Well, I felt like a Notre Dame offensive lineman pushing that sled around today. Did you used to do that?
We did a little bit of sleds. I didn't really start doing because sleds are it's my favorite piece of fitness equipment. I love sleds.
Like from back in the day, or like is this a new kind of love? Like basically in the last few years.
So when I ran the gym,
yeah,
we had 3 prowlers. So the prowlers are like it's in the shape of like a T, and the one that we had tonight was more of like a V shaped. This one, I think this one's called like a slice sled. So we had at my facility, we had 3 prowlers. So, and then like 2 slice sleds for outside that we'd push. The prowlers we could use on the turf. And what we didn't do tonight was, and we can do sometime.
Yeah.
But you put a harness on it, and it's a push forward and then a back pedal back.
Oh.
Yeah. That'll shut your quads down real quick.
That'll shut my entire body down. Mike is he's nodding his head over there like he knows what that is. Let's do it next time, man.
All right.
It was a hell of a workout. I mean, you can get a really good workout in 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's about, I don't know. I don't have a ton of time. You know, I used to do marathon workouts in the gym. I've kind of shifted my approach. I do more sauna and cold plunge now. As we were talking before we started, we both have kind of made some changes in our overall nutrition. And I think just tweaking some of that stuff, I know I feel so much better.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you and I, we both love pizza, but and I did a food panel, probably 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And I knew that there was some gluten issues, but it was like, I'm going to work out and still eat what I want. But I don't know, since January, I think it's been about 2.5 months for me now since I've had bread.
Yeah.
I cut out rice too.
Really?
Bread and rice.
Okay.
Now I've had a pizza in that time frame since January, and I think I had sushi once, but it's been very limited. So a lot of meat, a lot of fats.
Yeah.
I think I've tripled my egg intake per day.
You have.
Yeah,
I've seen the pictures, but the results are showing.
Yeah.
I still have some rice, so like I'm probably 90-10, right, with carbs, with protein carbs. So, I mean, this all started a couple months ago. I have not.
Well, it started on the podcast. You and Aaron were supposed to go head to head with a challenge.
Well, I know Aaron's been cold plunging.
Yeah, he has.
But yeah, we were gonna go head to head, and it kind of just started because you kind of threw the challenge out at both of us, and you were like, hey, it's 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, whatever. And my wife and I already go to a workout facility. I'm a former swimmer and tennis player, so like my whole life I've been up and down in terms of like weight loss, weight gain. But I decided to go a different route this time. More muscle, less worried about weight. Good. And so that's kind of the way it's been. Let's worry about the fat.
Yeah.
And I think in my first, so I'm a month into it now, and it was kind of, I mean, obviously the nutrition is such a huge part of it for the first couple weeks, getting the routine down, right? And after that, it became a lot easier. The workouts became not easier, but they became more of my everyday again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's manageable, right? Like, if I'm looking 5 years down the road, this is manageable, right? You're wanting to do something that is sustainable and that you can carry on. The diet has been fantastic. Like, I mean, I still have a little bit of rice, but it's been way more meat intake.
Yeah.
Way more.
Yep.
That Five Guys.
Oh, man.
That Five Guys bowl has become
That's
literally my go-to
That's
meal.
my cheat code on the road.
Oh, my God, dude.
It's so good.
I mean, you have everything you need right
Yeah.
there, and it fills you up. So all of this to say, it's been a hard month, but I've taken 2.5% off body fat.
Well, you even said tonight the shorts you were wearing you haven't been able to wear.
I literally put on the medium pair of shorts tonight because I packed the other one for spring break. So this is the only one I had. So it worked. It worked. But yeah, so it's going well so far, and I'm glad you threw the challenge out.
Yep.
A couple months ago because we've been following it. But you know, when let's kind of switch here. This is the Varsity Brews podcast. Obviously, we talk about football and beer. The beer side of us is not with us tonight.
You got the protein shake tonight.
We straight up protein. By the way, talk about this protein because it's awesome.
Yeah, it is really good. So it's a local company, and they make some great protein. I'll grab the bucket here in a minute and give them a quick shout out. But it's like 110 calories per serving, so low cal, high in protein, 24 grams a scoop. It tastes a little lighter than I think most of the proteins that sometimes they get a little thick.
Yeah.
This one's a little lighter. My favorite combo on this is actually to mix it with coffee.
Okay.
So coffee, raw egg, scoop of protein, and it's great. No carbs, low sugar, and a ton of amino acids in it too.
So when you're talking about, obviously Pro Day just passed for a lot of schools, Notre Dame included. For a lot of these NFL prospects, how closely do teams look at nutrition, at diet, at regimen? Like, I mean, Tom Brady came out of college, and dude wasn't packing a lot of muscle, but how big is that, or does it play into it at all?
I think the only time it really does is if there's a glaring red flag, if a guy really does not take care of his body. But, schools, it was starting to come around, in 05, 06 when I was playing where there was a hired nutritionist. I don't think that we took full advantage of, who we had on staff. And part of it, too, might have been most schools weren't making the spend to support that staff too. It was like, hey, we have a nutritionist. Go meet with the nutritionist.
Which all of them, dude. I mean, it's so important now.
Yeah, I think it was the year after I left, they added I think they called it like a training table. So there at the Goog, it was, chocolate milk dispenser and snacks. And I was like, man, it would have been cool to have this stuff right here. Because for me, that was my sophomore year. Now, granted, I was playing two sports. So I lost like 15, 20 pounds in the spring, and I was overtraining for sure. I didn't have a good balance in my schedule.
So you would pack on just a little bit for football season, and then
No. I did not want to lose weight.
Oh,
I couldn't hit a ball out of the infield that year.
Got it.
It was not good. It was bad. I wanted to keep that weight on, and so it took another year where I kind of settled into what my spring schedule was going to be, so that I could keep that weight on. I was around 215, 220 when I played. But that's one area you look at. All schools now, have a licensed nutritionist on staff, training table, structured meals. It does make a big difference, versus it kind of being, leaving it to the choices of your 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old, athletes. Having some of that structure where there's built-in meals, it helps a ton. And it goes to the next level once then you get, the guys that are having tremendous success at the highest level and then the longevity. I don't know what the exact stat is, but I know that like Tom Brady and I remember post that then like LeBron being another guy when he found out how much Tom Brady was spending on like personal chef.
Isn't it like $1 million?
It was like $1 million a year on like supplementation and just how he takes care of his body. So the recovery aspect post practice and post game. These top end athletes are spending a lot of money to make sure they're taking care of their bodies, and it's a big deal.
Well, I did talk to my trainer this morning about that. $1 million a year for LeBron James to take care of his body. And that could be personal trainer, could be
steroids.
Yeah, could be
for sure
the steroids,
that dude's
whatever.
On PEDs for sure.
I mean, a lot of the athletes are playing till they're 43, 44, 45 now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the other question I have for you is, as a trainer, as a athlete, right, who was at that level, is it easier now, I mean, for these college kids to eat healthier, to take care of their bodies? I mean, back then, right, we're kind of the same age, but you couldn't go to Five Guys and get a bowl.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't the norm back then. Like, I mean, now it's widely accepted. Then there wasn't the resources. People didn't really care about that kind of nutrition that we do now.
Yeah, resources are a big thing. And you talk about just athletic training in general. I had a training facility, and you're seeing more and more of those. So for younger athletes, and I won't go down the rabbit hole of sport specialization because I obviously was a 2-sport athlete, 3-sport athlete in high school, and I'm a big proponent of that. But there are a lot more athletes now specializing at a younger age, and there's also access to a lot more skill training at a younger age too. So the across the board, all of the sports, I think kids are becoming more skilled earlier. So the game that at the higher levels has changed tremendously too. And then you throw in more of these resources in terms of supplementation, the nutritional aspect, the recovery side of things. There's a lot more science and high schools now. I mean, you look at the trickle down effect, right? It started in pro athletics. Then you look at kind of the arms race in college where we have to have the nicest weight room. We're adding the nutritionist. We're adding, cold plunge tubs, not just the ones that are sitting out, you're sitting in a actual tub after practice. They have an entire facility designed for that. High schools now are starting to follow suit, and so are some of those athletes. So there's just this massive trickle down effect in all facets. And I think one other thing too is like, and we're not that old, but it was like the way you trained was much different, or I remember it being much different too, from conditioning,
100%.
Weightlifting. It was like, if you weren't puking and you weren't, if you couldn't walk the next day, that meant it was a good workout. So I think that there's been a shift on, it's more purposeful.
Right.
And I think too that is lending to some players being able to play longer. On a side note with that, not to say that football and basketball too, for that matter, they aren't physical sports, but the game has changed. We use pro basketball, for example. It's less physical overall as far as the physical contact of it, but the skills have changed too. I mean, you look at where guys are shooting the basketball from,
right,
and that side of it. From the quarterback position, you can't hit the quarterback anymore.
Right.
So, yeah, you can have quarterbacks as long as they take care of their body into their 40s. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. If you can't hit them and they're not likely to run, then, yeah, you could play longer periods of time.
So I'm going to ask this question. We're going to shift to spring ball, but I want to go down this rabbit hole for 1 second because my stepson is going through it now. He's a multi-sport athlete, right? I say multi-sport. He dances for competition-wise. So that's a lot of time, a lot of energy. It's a sport. He's also in travel baseball. He's 10. We've had the discussions about choosing, what age, right? I mean, when Deion Sanders, you go down the list, multi-sport athletes, Bo Jackson, were more common back in the day, I feel like, than they are today.
Mm-hmm.
Cole Kmet, right? Multi-sport athlete, but he chose football. You played both. And two-part question, at what age did you specialize or choose? And is playing two sports not realistic anymore, even in high school?
I didn't choose until I graduated from college. Or it was my
High
senior.
school.
It was my senior year of college.
Really?
I played 3 sports,
And nobody said anything about it.
It was even then. It was encouraged to play multi sports in high school. At least 2. I remember our high school football coach, especially like to the offensive and defensive linemen.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're not going out for basketball, you're on the wrestling team. All right. If you're not playing baseball in the spring, you're running track or, you're throwing shot put.
Kept you active.
100%. Because that meant that it was a structured program where
Right.
you'd be in the weight room, and you'd also be competing. That was the other thing too.
That's right.
But the major shift that occurred was AAU basketball. An increase in the number. I mean, you look now; it is so oversaturated in travel baseball.
Oh my
There are way too many teams. There are a lot of kids that probably shouldn't be playing travel baseball.
100%.
But if you're going to pay for it, there's probably an organization or a coach that's going to take that money. Football. You look at football in the last 10 years. What's taken off? 7-on-7. All of these different combines. So the difficulty for parents, right, and then for the athletes too, is I think you're forced into a corner to specialize earlier,
Right.
where then you maybe you're halfway decent at one sport and maybe a little bit better in the other, so you think you should specialize in that, but maybe 4 years down the road, if you stick at the other one, you start to mature a little bit more, you understand the game a little bit better, and you blossom into a better player in that sport. Like for me, I was a darn good high school basketball player, and I had a couple offers to play college basketball. I got better in my mid-20s.
And that happens. That totally happens.
Yep. And I just enjoyed the competitive side of things. Not everybody's like that, right? Some may be good at a sport, but they're like, I don't really like doing this.
Right.
But the bottom line is the way the landscape is now, I think it's more difficult to play multiple sports at a high level. I think in high school, it's probably more common now to see 2-sport athletes. Very rare to see 3-sport athletes.
Very rare. When back in the day, that was the goal, right?
Correct. And if you have aspirations to play at the college level, you probably start to see some guys maybe by their sophomore or junior year of high school start to say, okay, here's my career path at the next level. I'm going to spend a little more time doing that. But even so, you look at the number of, successful high school or college football players, most of them all have a 2-sport background.
Right.
A lot of them do. I always think it's funny, though, because they show that stat, and they always show it in college, but it becomes completely backwards once you get to college. It is near impossible to play 2 sports in college unless both, unless the really it's I think probably the football program. The football program, they say it's okay, but then they support it. Like, hey, we know you're not going to be here for this, but it's not going to hurt you.
But does it depend on who it is? So this is a great lead-in. I was at the lacrosse game the other day, videoing Jordan Faison.
Yeah.
Jordan Faison was the wide receiver last year. Marcus, talking about him in the press conference, was asked, very good question, hey, like, how much of Jordan are we going to see in the spring, and is that going to really matter? Marcus is like, we're not going to really see him that much.
Yep.
Because, A, we've already proven how valuable he is in this offense. And he came out of nowhere last year, so he's going to have way more experience right off the bat. And B, he's a pretty darn good lacrosse player too.
Right. So on that, because I've had a few people ask me that a similar question too.
Yeah.
If you're established, the spring doesn't really matter.
But does it matter? Can I just interrupt for 1 second? Does it matter for Riley Leanard?
No.
You don't think?
Well, his situation's a little bit different because he's new to the program.
Do you think that's going to hurt him not being able to play in the spring? Obviously, he got hurt, so. But it's not going to hurt Jordan Faison.
It's not going to hurt Jordan Faison because
he knows the offense.
He's been proven already. So what it does allow is for other guys who maybe wouldn't have gotten reps if he was there get some reps and develop. The part where it becomes somewhat challenging is if it's a person that's in like a position competition.
Yeah.
It's probably important for that person to be there. It's not extremely detrimental because you can still go and win a job in the fall. The position dependent.
Like, you think C.J. Carr. Okay, does this help C.J. Carr? Let's go to quarterback.
Well, why are we jumping to C.J. Carr? He's not starting this year.
No. But
yeah,
Marcus made it very clear that the competition is not between C.J. Carr.
It does. It does. He's going to get more reps.
But let's say he comes out and is literally lights up the place in the spring game.
It doesn't matter. I
know we've talked about this.
I threw for more yards than Brady Quinn did. I didn't start that year.
But even now, right? I mean, you talk about J.J. McCarthy, who's come up these last couple of years, and he's matured, but he played, right? I mean, he played. Could C.J. Carr see some garbage time? Could he see some playing time this year even? I know Angeli's the guy, right?
I'd be really surprised to see C.J. Carr play.
You would? Yeah, at all?
Yeah.
Well, he's going to definitely get some reps in the spring game, and so will Menchie now.
Yeah, but, I mean, again, the spring game is eyewash. It's the practices that he's going to benefit from the most is now you have one less quarterback, so his reps automatically going to bump up now.
Right.
That is important for the future of the quarterback position at Notre Dame.
Here's another question I have, and this goes back to Faison 2 in the offense. He's an established player in the offense. The most important, you could argue the most important player now that Audric Estime is gone, right? Other than Riley Leanard. Okay, Riley Leanard is not there during the spring. Your most important wide receiver is not there in the spring. Take away the fact that the spring doesn't matter. What about a new offensive coordinator that they have now? How much does that matter?
I think, if it was maybe one of the things that you mentioned, but them collectively, when you're coming off a season of kind of what ifs, right?
Right.
It would be nice to start to develop some chemistry in the spring. It can still be made up in the summer and the fall, for sure. But again, I'm glad you asked it the way you asked it because one of those alone, okay.
Right.
If it's just Riley Leanard out and he's still around the program, got it. He's going to be back in the summer,
You still have the same offensive coordinator.
Correct.
No problem.
But, the combo of those things, I think, it lends to some question marks we probably all had going into the offseason, and maybe it's become a little bigger now.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we just don't have enough information on the offensive coordinator. I don't know if we have enough information on Jordan Faison. I don't know if we have enough information on Riley Leanard. I mean, he was injury prone when he was at Duke.
You brought it up a bunch.
We talked about it a ton last year.
Yep.
Injury prone. What happens? He's here at Notre Dame, and he literally is at one practice, gets injured, or re-aggravates it, or whatever. I mean,
I think there should be a high level of concern for this offense for next season.
You think so?
Yes.
I think you said 4 losses this year. I think you said 4 losses. That was a preliminary look at the schedule.
That was my early look.
The schedule's not that tough.
No, it's not.
But they start the season at Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Julie's Uncut Gems is in the building. She is in her own house. Uncut Gems in her own house. There is. I think you're right. There is a high level of concern. What concerns me is all three together. Riley Leanard is not healthy. When is he going to be healthy? Now, did Angeli show enough in this bowl game to give us
against the JV team?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take anything away from him.
But all you got to do is win one game at home in December, right? The new format says win one game, and they can get in with 2 losses now. So this is a different kind of animal now.
Yeah.
So that's another conversation for another day. But
and here's another thing though that we haven't really talked about is this is going to be a newer offensive line.
That's true. New offensive line, new offensive coordinator.
A lot of things.
A lot of new things in the offense. Now that we have Julie's Uncut Gems, how's your bracket doing, Jules?
Well, which one?
Ooh, we got a competitor over here.
Yeah, well, so we have our family bracket. We have our family bracket, and I'm not doing so hot. But we have the champion of our bracket thus far. I'm at like at 39%. What am I at? Anyway, but what counts is Joey is leading the family over here.
Nice job, Joey.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Joey, can you grab my phone real quick?
Way to represent. My phone's over here. I can't reach it, but
I have a girls group. And I'm Mama Risley in there. I think I'm at 93%.
nice.
There. I've got, I don't know, like 1,400 something max points. But anyway, yeah. So that's exciting. I just wanted to talk about that to balance.
Nice job. I'm first in my bracket. I joined literally at 10:30.
Did
30
you
minutes.
pick Wisconsin to win?
No.
Neither did I.
Wait.
I was really curious.
I picked
about
them
that.
the first round.
I didn't.
And I was going back and forth. I'm like,
Yeah.
they've been so up and down. Then they had a good tournament. And I'm like, that's fool's gold.
Yeah.
Even if they beat St. Mary's, I picked them to lose the Duke.
That's what the St. Mary's loss hurt me real bad.
Or St. Mary's, yeah.
I
they
had
didn't play
them.
St. Mary's,
I had them making a little run. I had JMU too making a run.
Man.
Yeah.
I had boy, who did I have making a run? I picked a couple of the 11 seeds, though. I think that's where I made up some ground.
Yeah.
I did pick some 11 seeds, which helped my bracket out. Ultimately, I think we both have the same kind of teams in the Final Four. Illinois, maybe.
I don't have them.
I have Illinois.
No, I should have picked them.
I have Purdue, obviously. We have UConn.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who my other team is. I think it might be Duke, honestly. Or is it It's North Carolina.
I need North Carolina to lose.
Yeah. She needs North Carolina also.
She needs them to win.
Yeah, she does.
I still got a lot of points out there. I just need this next round's important.
Anything else in this spring that we want to talk about? I mean, we touched on Jordan Faison. We touched on the Notre Dame offense. We really don't know a lot about the defense, to be honest. Jack Kaiser's coming back for like a 15th season.
Yeah.
My boy Jack Kaiser back in the building. Everybody else kind of just left or went pro or is trying to go pro. You got some of the corners that came back, which I think is important.
Yep.
You got one transferred in, and so I don't know. I don't really know what we're gonna see from this Notre Dame team this spring. I guess not this fall, but this spring.
I hope there's obviously always a lot of focus on the quarterback position. I hope that that's not like covers up some of the other red flags that there could be.
Yeah.
Because, as I told you, even last year, and it was a good example, adding the transfer piece that was probably the best available wasn't the game changer.
Yeah.
And also, we'll ask this: you think he gets picked up?
Who? Quarterback?
Yeah.
Sam?
Yeah. I say no.
Boy, are there 7 rounds of quarterbacks better than Sam Hartman?
I think
he didn't really impress during the Reese's Peanut Butter Bowl or whatever, Senior Bowl. Shout out Reese's Pieces. Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Senior Bowl.
I think he'll be in a camp. I don't think he gets drafted.
Okay, so he undrafted free agent.
I think so,
and he gets picked up somewhere, maybe by the Bears.
Gosh, what are the Bears doing?
Listen, I am a big Justin Fields guy, and I think they screwed up.
I know we've talked about it, and I think maybe it was last time with Aaron too. Who like are teams watching Caleb Williams tape?
I don't know. I really don't know what they're seeing, to be honest.
I'm very curious. I mean, I get he has like. There certainly are some physical gifts he has.
Sure. You think those physical gifts are better than Cam Newton's?
No.
You think those physical gifts are better than Vince Young coming out of Texas? I mean, that's what I kind of am looking at, and I'm like, we've had this quarterback style before coming out of college.
I think Fields coming out of college
was better.
Yes.
Yeah, I am with you on this concern.
What are the Bears doing?
I don't know, but Pittsburgh cleaned house. Pittsburgh is cleaning up, dude.
How about that? You think? I know they already said that Russell Wilson's going to be the starter. I don't think he is.
You don't think so?
Fields is better than he is at this point.
I don't know. I mean, Fields to sit back. I don't think Russell's going to make it the entire season, even if he does start. I think he might get hurt or, I mean, we've seen it the past couple of seasons with Russ.
Steelers, let's ride.
I was hoping he would say that in the press conference, and he did not.
Good.
He said something like, let's get to work. Yeah. I'm like, no, let's ride. Let's ride, Steeler Nation. It has certainly been an interesting spring with moves and whatnot. Should we wrap up this episode with a little bit of uncut gems? Because I know she's waiting there. She's been searching on her iPhone.
I got it. Well, I like the idea of combining it into some trivia, but do you guys, anybody know how Google Images was started? Like, what was the incident that spurred on the beginning of Google Images?
I feel like this is kind of like a...
You cannot answer this. You can...
I feel like this is... It would be like an oxymoron, like something happened with Mac or something, or Yahoo, so they had to like put their own image in somewhere for patent purposes, and then it kind of started. I don't know.
That is I think you're giving people too much credit. Jennifer Lopez wore a green dress to the 2000 Grammys, and it got searched so hard that they ended up creating Google Images.
From that green dress?
Oh.
I thought it was going to be that or Catherine Webb.
Oh, Catherine Webb. Forgot about Catherine Webb.
All right.
I remember that green dress, but J-Lo got canceled this week, so.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she's getting canceled hard on TikTok.
Oh.
They're starting to question her New Yorkness a little bit. Yeah, it's getting nasty.
She's not actually Jenny from the block.
Well, it's getting nasty out there on TikTok for J-Lo for sure. She said basically she was asked about her bodega order, and she basically said some generic like ham and cheese with an orange drink. If you know, you know. And New Yorkers were not happy.
Oh my gosh, who was it? Who else was it? There was somebody else that pretended to be like super. Was it Alec Baldwin's wife? Last year, yeah.
Like super New Yorker and not.
Yeah, she totally came out and like even said busted on every level. It was funny.
Along those lines, canceled in the same week. J-Lo and P. Diddy.
I was just gonna say P. Diddy. That's a whole other wormhole.
Wow. P. Diddy's on an island. Literally.
Oh, man.
Yeah, literally.
Hollywood. Man. So that's that. So my other.
J-Lo's green dress. Interesting.
Yeah. So the real name for a hashtag. Does anybody know what the real name for a hashtag?
£?
That's a great guess. What about you, Ev?
I have no idea.
The round mound of pound.
It's an octo.
Who was that?
My
Who's the
God.
round mound of pound? It was a nickname for a boxer, but who was it? The round mound of pound.
Is that
George Foreman?
Was it George? It might
don't
be
know.
George Foreman. Somebody Google it.
P.S. Have you guys covered Tyson and Jake Paul?
Nice. I actually think Tyson's going to win that fight.
I hope so.
Jake Paul's gonna win. Jake Paul's a monster.
Or it's going to be like a draw, and they'll have a
Yeah,
second
there's got to be
fight.
something in the
when
small
Tyson's
print.
80.
Yeah.
Isn't Netflix streaming it though?
I think so.
I'll
It's gotta be.
So what was the pounds? What was the hashtag?
an Octothorpe.
What? An Octothorpe?
According to today.com and the 50 random facts, that is what it says.
On X?
So,
Who likes the X name versus Twitter? I like Twitter. They need to go back to Twitter.
yeah, really, it seems,
Like, it was almost too late in the
Yeah.
game to change it.
yeah. They're like,
Um,
what? You know Twitter. Oh, okay.
yeah, X. You know.
Wasn't that the name of Elon Musk's kid? Isn't it like X? Yeah. Oh, my bad.
It's like that weird AE kind of.
It's something futuristic. I thought he was gonna be like, I named this anti-metaverse after my second child that I created.
Hey, Google. Who was known as the round mound of pound?
Oh, you're eating. I've been going around saying the round mound of pound. Don't tell your kids As
to know.
everybody's like, so have you heard?
The round mound of rebound. Yeah. Sir Charles Barkley. Wow.
Round mound of pound. Hashtag round mound of pound.
Octo.
These are all the hashtags for this episode.
Boy, it's been a good
Green
one.
dress.
Green dress.
Octothorpe. A round mound of pound. Round pound. Is it pound mound or mound of pound?
Mound round of rebound.
Well, I know what it was supposed to be now, but that's not what you were
No,
saying.
I
so
was saying
trying to-
round mound of pound. Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. This was a good one. This is the Varsity Brews podcast with the Sharpley fam. Thanks for allowing us in your home here and getting a good workout in. Got a great workout in today. Sweet, man.
Sorry we missed you, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron. We'll see you in the next one, buddy.
8 minutes every day.
Well, it's up to 10 now because you missed today's workout.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
All right. We'll see you guys in the next one.